Welcome back to another edition of Pride and Passion Baseball Talk. This is your playoff preview. So, Pride and Passion Baseball Talk playoff preview. I have been practicing all week on my P's, on my performance. Welcome. I am your host, Amir Sharaz Ortiz, aka Poppy Ortiz 02. Look me up, follow me on the Twitter, Poppy Ortiz 02, Instagram, same handle. Amir Sharaz Ortiz on Facebook. Let's get this started. That's an homage to, I guess, the Black Eyed Peas. It's not a P, that's a B. Playoffs. We are here. 162 games down, which means what? 12 teams remain. 6 on each side. 4 wild card teams on each side. 4 teams have a bye. I guess we can start. I guess I'm just gonna put the trophy in there, just so everybody can see what we're playing for. Right? It's a pennant. We are in the pennant chase. The pennant chase is over, people. We are here. The playoffs. The playoffs are here. Starts tomorrow. This weekend, 3-game series, 4 games. Starts tomorrow. 4 games, a whole series. Should be done by Sunday. Will be done by Sunday. How, you ask? The format is different this year for the first time. I guess I will touch on that so everybody can see what I am talking about. This is your bracket, people. This is your bracket. This is what we're talking about. The first game starts at noon out in Cleveland. The Guardians will play their first game as the Guardians in the playoffs tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Rays, not the Devil Rays, not the Indians, the Guardians against the Rays. Also tomorrow, the other 3 series will commence, as they say. Again, this wild card series, as Major League Baseball will call it, will end on Sunday. How, Sway? Well, let me tell you how. All right, 3 games. All 3 games we played in the higher seed, which means the Guardians, the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, and the Mets will all host their teams this weekend. Okay? Starting tomorrow. Again, will end on Sunday, and I will touch on each series here in a minute. All the Braves fans tuned in. They might be turned off. They have 5 days off, as they say, right? Because, I have today off. They have Monday off. And the divisional series will begin on Tuesday. Now, the divisional series is 3 out of 5, okay? 2 games at home, 2 games away, and then the higher seed will host the tie-breaking game 5. So it's crazy how all these fans, and please tune in. But if you're tuning in, please share, okay? Share. And what it do, Quincy? What it do, Robert? We are in love with baseball. This is what we watch baseball all year round. Okay, sorry. This is why I watch baseball all year round. Okay, so tomorrow we are starting. I guess we can break it down. I'm not gonna pick on. I was gonna pick on the Mets, but I'll have ample enough time to do so. So I'm not going to do that. I will start with the first series that will start tomorrow during the day, and that is the Guardians and the Rays. Let's go there. Let's go. Season series. The Cleveland Guardians beat them 4-2. So they have that advantage. Game 1, I call it the battle of the Shanes. Shane Bieber will go for the Guardians. Shane McClanahan will go for the Rays. Both viable pitchers or above average pitchers. As I was saying, Shane McClanahan finished the season 12-8, 2.54 ERA, 194 strikeouts. Shane Bieber, on the other hand, 13-8, 2.88 ERA, 198 strikeouts. This game is definitely about youth. This game is about putting a bat on the ball, what baseball has always been about, right? So you're not going to see many home runs. You're going to see what the National League has played baseball all these years. Runner gets on base, they're going to bunt him over. Let me go over some of these notes. For the Guardians, it's about youth, the youth movement, okay? We're not bringing out the big bats This series is not going to be about the big bats. It's going to be about the clutch hits. The Guardians is about the youth movement. 17 rookies played this year. Okay. Major League Baseball rookie. The average age of this team is 26 years and 2 months. That is insane to me. Okay. It is insane. Let me put this in perspective for you guys. Another P word, playoff perspective. At the average age of 26.2, 26 years, 2 months, this team is younger than all of the AAA teams in baseball. I'm going to let that marinate for a minute. Okay? At 26 years of age, the average age of this baseball team, they are younger than all 32 AAA squads. If that's not mind-blowing, I don't know what is. Let me tell you something else with the Guardians. $69 million payroll. Only 3 teams had lower than that. And obviously none of those 3 teams are in the playoffs. It's all about the youth movement with the Guardians. New name, who dis? 26 years old. Yes, copyright that. Pay me. 26 years old. Now, which is crazy because they're led by a 63-year-old Terry Francona. Terry Francona is a legend in the managerial scene. He's done it all. He has won World Series. He has taken other teams to the World Series. I remember when he took Philadelphia in 2009 to the World Series. Lost to the Yankees, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Cleveland is a whole youth movement. Led by who? 29-year-old Jose Ramirez. Now, let me do a quick season recap. In the season preview, I was asking the Guardians to free Jose Ramirez. I thought this team, and I'm owning it, I thought this team was the 4th place team, only higher than the Royals. That's what I was going with before the season started. You can look it up. It's probably in the archive somewhere. That's okay. You don't have to Google it. I'm going to tell you, I was wrong. I picked the Guardians to be 4th place, higher than the Royals. I picked the White Sox to run away with this division. White Sox are nowhere to be found. And the Guardians I'm not going to say shot the world, haven't won the World Series yet, but I don't think they have to win the World Series to make a statement. They made a statement already. I wasn't planning on starting with the Guardians. I haven't mentioned much of the Guardians this season, but yet here we are. Wow. Yes. Wow. 26 years of age. Man. Another shiny moment for the Guardians. Yes, thank you. Is 25-year-old Stephen Kwan, who I did see from the beginning, and I claimed it. I thought the kid was that good that I said he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. Needless to say, there's a kid out there named Julio Rodriguez who should take the honors, but Stephen Kwan should be second in the Rookie of the Year voting with a .299 batting average, .372 on base percentage, and quite possibly a Gold Glove out there in left field. This team is they're tested. They're young. They're hungry. They're having fun. And if you're not having fun in baseball, are you really having fun? Do I have them beating the Rays? I do. I do have them beating the Rays. I believe it'll go to 3 games. I actually think all 3 series will go 3 games. Yeah, it's weird to say because it's just a 3-game series. Best 2 out of 3. It's first time, again, I got to reiterate, Major League Baseball has done that. 3-game series all in one park. I think the Guardians hosting is what's going to put them over. And here's another reason I have the Guardians beating the Rays, because for the Rays, they're coming in beat up. The Rays are all about the injuries. Unfortunately, Brandon Lau has a back injury. He's been out since 9/11. I don't see him playing in a series. Mike Zunino, their catcher, had throat surgery. He's out for the season. Wander Franco just came back after missing 3 months with a leg injury. And their ace, Tyler Glasnow, missed all season and came back for 2 starts at the end of the season. Not sure they have him on a pinch count yet. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So I think, I hate to say this, there's a series that's underrated. But this series, I believe, is going to be 3 runs to 2 type games. It's not going to be as exciting as the other series. Not sure why I started on this, but the youth movement matters. Let me give a little credit to the Rays, though. They battled. They're still here. They were within 3 games of the Baltimore Orioles. I want to give the Orioles some love because, hey, nobody expected them to be where they were. Above 500, by the way, and making sure that the Boston Red Sox came in last place. So thank you, Baltimore, for doing what you're supposed to be doing all those drafts all these years. If the Rays are going to win, okay, if the Rays are going to win, it's going to come down to not necessarily one guy, but if postseason Randy Arozarena, I got to make sure I slow down and say these names. Arozarena comes out. And why I bring up his name? Because this is something I guarantee you do not know. In a minimum 100 at-bats, postseason career OPS, which is on-base percentage plus slugging percentage, Randy Arozarena is 3rd in Major League Baseball history with a 1.197 OPS. Only Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig is higher than him, which to me is insane. A statistic to be in a group like that. And we just don't make statistics to make statistics. We're not about that. Baseball is not about that. This is Major League Baseball. 1.197 OPS, and Randy Arozarena brings it to a whole different level when it comes to the playoffs. Want to make sure that's going down after this postseason. Who knows? You know, he could walk 4 times and they could double it up. You know, who knows? He's his speed, his eye precision does all that. I'm gonna give him all the credit. My prediction, it goes 2-1, Cleveland Guardians over the Tampa Bay Rays. Want to make sure I don't miss anything when it comes to this series. Tomorrow, playoffs kick off with this series here at noon. Let's go to the other American League wild card series. The Blue Jays and the Mariners. If there was a team, well, I'm only speaking for the American League now. We're talking about Star Power series. It's this one here with the fancy names and the with the swag, and they got a mix of young and old. And the Blue Jays finished the season at 92-70. The Mariners finished at 90-72, just a 2-game difference. These are your 4th and 5th seeds of the wild card. Your 4th seed, Toronto Blue Jays, will be hosting the first round series, the wild card series. Here's something to note. Canada has dropped all COVID restrictions, which means all players participating do not have to be vaccinated to go play. All season they were. Coincidence? I don't know. But guess what? As of September 30th, there is no more restrictions. This goes for every sport, not just baseball. Okay? Not even sports. This goes for Canada as a country. Anybody can come and go in Canada and don't have to worry about COVID restrictions being put on them. Obviously, make sure you have a passport. I just want to throw that out there. You know, a little admin work. I don't want anybody to go over like, well, Amir said I can go. I got my booster shot. Nope, that's not what I'm saying. All right, please don't use it against me. Now, like I said, this series is all about potential and pure talent. This playoff series, potential, pure talent, playoff preview, pride and passion, baseball talk. I am getting it. I am on point with the Blue Jays. You got this is not their lineup, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna spit out their names. I haven't seen their lineup yet. Alejandro Kirk, who led all catchers, who has more walks than strikeouts. That's usually unheard of. That's a stat, people. All right. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Doesn't get any more popular than that, right? Bo Bichette, son of Dante Bichette. 27 home runs, but he might be a defensive liability. All right. I'm gonna tell you that I think he was second in errors. Where's my statistician? My statistician can do that for me. I believe he was second in errors at the shortstop position. That would definitely help me out. I believe I'm correct though. George Springer, highly touted center fielder, played mostly injury free. Finally, injury free. Finally, I'm gonna make sure I get that out there. Navigating the center field, coming from the Houston Astros a couple seasons ago, but this series, as many good hitters as they are, I believe it's going to come down to pitching. I do believe it'll come down to pitching. And I'm just going to throw out the Blue Jays pitchers, Alek Manoah, Ross Stripling, and Kevin Gausman. Those names don't sound sexy, but they get the work done. Now, speaking of sexy pitchers, because that's where the star power of the Seattle Mariners goes for, and that's Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, okay? And the relievers who nobody has heard of any of them other than Kirby Yates, who's their closer, leads the American League in team on-base percentage. That's insane. Nobody knows who those guys are outside of the, the Northwest, the Northwest Pacific, whatever that region is. But how about a couple of names you guys probably haven't heard of and you should have heard. But if you follow me this year, I will tell you that Cal Riley, Ty France, Eugenio Suarez, Mitch Haniger, and who I will vote for, and I believe everybody else will vote for American League Rookie of the Year, Julio Rodriguez, who's broken rookie records this season. So, yep, second. God, I'm good. Jeez, I just want to make sure I don't lie to you guys. Bo Bichette has been a defensive liability, but they're rolling the dice with who they got, and I believe this is going to be a high-scoring series, even though they have all-star pitchers. I believe Luis Castillo will come out and set the tone for the Seattle Mariners, and that's what they're paying him all that money for, right? So Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert. If Robbie Ray goes second, this could be a 2-0 sweep for the Mariners. Could be. Who am I picking? This was hard. Out of all the series, this might be the hardest one to choose from. Based upon the pitching, I'm going to go with the Seattle Mariners. Shock, right? I'm going to go with the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to throw up the bracket so you guys can see who plays what if they win. And I got, if the Guardians beat the Rays or the Rays win, that series will go on to New York City to play the Bronx Bombers. And unfortunately, the Seattle Mariners and or Toronto Blue Jays, if they win, they will go on to face the Houston Astros, which to me, the Astros will be, they're just tough to beat. You know, I'm not betting against the Astros. I'm not betting against a 18-win Justin Verlander. I'm not betting against 26 straight quality starts and Framber Valdez. I'm just not betting against them. I'm not. Would I like to be the homer and say the Yankees will win it all? I believe Houston having that home field advantage throughout the playoffs on the American League side, mind you, will give them an advantage. I will break down the divisional series next week, but the wild card series this week, I picked the Seattle Mariners going to Houston and the Cleveland Guardians going to New York. That's your American League side. Any questions, please put it in the comments. Please put it in the comments. See how that works. And I am just going to stick to the playoffs. Let's jump to let's go red on red crime here, right? Red on red, is that a thing? Red on red crime. The Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Obviously, the story this year for the St. Louis Cardinals was the revival of Albert Pujols, who for some reason before the All-Star break just was kind of obsolete, and then for some reason he took a couple of days off to rest, and they decided to. Actually, he didn't because he played in the home run derby, but he was out there in the festivities as well. And for some reason, after that, he decided I could still hit home runs, and ended the season with 703. Congratulations to Albert Pujols, a great career. He was interviewed today, actually. He was asked, do you still have a few seasons left to play? He said he does. He said he's just tired, though. I'm tired. I'm going home. End quote. That's all it was. This series here should be interesting. This should be an old school National League playoff feel. Here's a fun fact for you. The Phillies' last postseason appearance was in the year 2011. Who eliminated them? I'm going to answer that because that is not, I can't wait for an answer. That is these St. Louis Cardinals who eliminated them in 2011. And the reason I brought that up and answered because it's the same St. Louis Cardinals, Adam Wainwright, Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, all these guys were on that team back then too. So just imagine that. They're going to be facing them once again. This should be the swan song for Wainwright, Molina, and Pujols. All three were taking out at the same time last game of the season. Perfect tribute for this St. Louis trio. I believe all three might be in the Hall of Fame. Definitely Pujols is the first ballot. Wainwright, Molina may or may not be. They do have the numbers, though, to support their cases. But I say put them all together. Why not? The Phillies did what they intended out to do. They spent $230 million just this offseason to fix this team. And they did just enough, and I mean just enough, because only one game ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers to reach the postseason. So that is a big deal in itself. The Phillies spent all that money, but obviously they scrapped. The Phillies scrapped. They had a tough division, obviously, with the Mets and Braves above them. Sorry, let me correct myself, with the Braves and Mets above them. I don't want to get torched by Braves fans who are watching. But they did what they're supposed to do. But they spent $230 million this offseason. They signed Kyle Schwarber, who led the National League of home runs. 46 home runs, by the way. They re-signed Bryce Harper, Real Muto. One more, I believe it was Zach Wheeler. Yeah, Zach Wheeler. Their ace, they re-signed him. He will be on the mound for game 1 tomorrow against Jose Quintana. Yeah, there we go. Jose Quintana. Jose Quintana was traded for. I guess I have to compare. Again, I'm saying I have to. Please don't judge me. But the run that the Cardinals had from the trade deadline to the playoffs smells a lot of what the Braves did last year. Okay? If it wasn't for those trades that the Braves did at the trade deadline, the Braves would not have won the World Series. Okay? With that being said, they traded for Jose Quintana, Jordan Montgomery, and I believe it was one more pitcher. No, I'm thinking Noah Syndergaard. He went to the Phillies. Here, the Cardinals traded for Quintana and Jordan Montgomery, and now they're here pitching them into the playoffs. This it's a lot of star power on both sides as well. With the Phillies, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, as I mentioned, former two-time MVP, JP Realmuto, Nick Castellanos, which had a quiet but steady season out in right field. You know, he's not really a right fielder. Brandon Marsh, who they traded for. That's another one they traded for in the All-Star break. He's one who quietly navigates the outfield. He's the anchor there at center field. Gene Segura is at second base, a solid second baseman. So a lot of star names, a lot of star power out of Philadelphia. Do they have enough? I'm telling you right now, every series in the playoffs up until the ALCS and NLCS go either way. Okay? That even means playing against Houston, playing against the Yankees, playing against the Braves, playing against the Dodgers. All right? Can go either way. Why? Because it's a short series, and you're usually playing against their aces. So in a 3-game series, in a 5-game series, things could go either way. The Cardinals have Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, Corey Dickerson. They have names themselves. I expect a lot of runs to be scored. I don't think the pitching is going to hold their own in this series. So I expect these games to be 8-5, 10-7, somewhere along those lines, high scoring. Late scoring, both bullpens are not still banged up, a little bit beat up. The Phillies are still doing a closer by committee. So, and the Cardinals don't know if Jordan Hicks, even though he throws for 105 miles an hour, is he that guy to close? And they got Giovanni Gallegos there as well. Definitely. This series is going to go, can go either way. I don't know if I have a prediction. I don't know if I know which way I want to go with this series. I just know I'm looking forward to watching this series. I'm looking forward to doing what I have to do to make sure I watch all of the games this weekend, to include Sunday football. So I'm going to have a lot of eyes on a lot of TV screens this weekend. People's going to be mad at me. So what else we got? We got the I want to close out this series. They played 7 times. Okay, Phillies won 4 games to 3 to the Cardinals, but all 7 games were played in July. So it was done prior to the trade deadline. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on in this series. And then finally, I believe the series everybody wants to watch. Nothing says star power more than what's going to happen in Queens this weekend. Flushing Meadows, to be specific. Queens, the Mets against the San Diego Padres. Man, I got notes on this one. I don't even know how to break this down. So what I did was I decided to go position by position and who wins. And I want you guys out there to work with me. Actually, this is an interactive one. So if I'm talking about the catchers, tell me who wins at catching, first, second. They're, so far. The Mets, despite winning 100 games and having a 10.5 game lead, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. They host this 3-game series. They did finish with the same record as the Braves, though. But the Braves won that season series by 1 game by sweeping them this past weekend. It is a big deal. I think it's a choke. I think they choked, honestly. Man, I think they choked. I don't like to – I hate to use that term, being a New Yorker, because all I see is Reggie Miller with his hands around his neck when he kicked our butt to 99. And he's – yeah, I mean, it's not a baseball, but I get the analogy. Us New Yorkers don't like the choking, using the word choke, because it hurts. Yeah. But out of all the teams the Mets could have played, the Padres have been their demise. So this can actually get from worse to worser. Is that a word? Was worser a word? I can go from worse to worser, I guess, for the Mets. They already lost 4 out of 6 games against the Padres this season. Yu Darvish, I'm going to throw this out there. His career has started 8 games against the Mets, and he's 5-0 with a 2.56 ERA. And if I'm continuing to kick this dead horse, Yu Darvish has pitched 2 times against the Mets this season and won both of those games. So it's on paper, it's not looking good for the New York Metropolitans. Did y'all know the Mets are short Metropolitans? Not just the Mets. Fun fact there. I can easily say storylines galore, right? The Mets choked. The Padres made trades upon trades in the trade deadline. And they Fernando Tatis. I'm just going to shake my head on that one. He's definitely letting this team down. Imagine their lineup right now with Fernando Tatis in it. heading into the playoffs. Granted, they probably would have never caught the Dodgers, who finished with 111 victories, but I would have not liked to play against the Padres at all. But even without Tatis, let's go position by position here. I got a little bit of time. Let's go with catcher. We got Brandon Nido versus Austin Nola. Now, if there's any position that's boring for both teams, it's the catching position. Okay, neither is offensively. That's the word I'm looking for. Potent at catching. You know, hell, the Mets might even go with Nido. They might go with McCain, James McCain. So we don't even know that. And then San Diego got Austin Nola and Campusano, Luis Campusano. They can go with him. So that they can go either way. So I don't know who wins at catcher, but I'm gonna give the nod to Austin Nola because he's the famed here. At first base, I don't even know. This is not even a debate. Obviously, it's Pete Alonso. There's not even a debate on this. So Pete Alonso, 40 home runs, Major League leading 131 RBIs. Major League leading 131 RBIs. The Padres have a combination of Brandon Drury, Will Myers, and Josh Bell. Josh Bell has not done well coming over from the trade deadline. So he's in a platoon position. So, but also, as I'm saying these positions, and I'm mentioning more than one player, keep in mind, the designated hitter is in effect. Okay? Has been in effect all season and will continue to be in effect moving forward down in Major League Baseball. So it's not just a one-time thing. The designated hitter on both leagues is staying. Get used to it. What do we got? Second base. We have the Major League Baseball batting champion, Jeff McNeil. I believe he batted 324. 326, 324, something like that. My statistician, please get on that for me because I hate being wrong. Beat out Freddie Freeman by 1 point. I believe it's 326, and then Freeman ended up at 325. Please, somebody, my statistician got me. I know you got me. Going up against Jake Cronenworth, who was an all-star in his own right at second base. So you got Jake Cronenworth, Jeff McNeil, Cronenworth. McNeil is a utility player who can play any position, but obviously he's going to be in the lineup. So I vote McNeil. I'd rather have McNeil. You know, Jake Cronenworth is an all-star hitting second baseman. 320. I am good. 326. Freddie Freeman went 3 for 4 to finish at 325. Fun fact, he had to go 4 for 4 in yesterday's game to tie for the Major League lead. Crazy, right? But he showed up and went 3 for 4. So imagine if he had played in Atlanta or something. I don't know. Let's go third base. Third base, we got Manny Machado versus Eduardo Escobar. As good as Eduardo Escobar has been, okay? As good as he's been, obviously you go with Manny Machado, who I believe comes in third in the MVP race. It's just me. Again, my show, Pride and Passion Baseball, playoff prediction. I am throwing an MVP prediction. I believe Goldschmidt will probably be number 1. Freddie Freeman will probably be number 2. And Manny Machado will probably be number 3. That's just me. That's my prediction. That's what I'm going with. Obviously, Alonso will take some votes there. Mookie Betts will take some votes. But Mookie Betts lost a lot of time due to injuries. That's something that hurt him. So, but Freddie Freeman can easily win it. Goldschmidt can easily win it. Manny Machado spent some time away with an ankle injury. That's what caused him to probably lose some votes. But I believe he's still top 3 in the MVP voting. I vote for Machado here at third base. At shortstop, this should have been an interesting position if Fernando Tatis was in the race, was in the game, right? You go from Tatis versus Lindor, and it's a coin flip, right? Because Lindor is having the seasons of all seasons at shortstop. And then you got Fernando Tatis, who I believe would have came back and hit the ball everywhere. But instead, we got a guy called Ha-Sung Kim, who is a great defensive shortstop, which he is. I'll give him his props. But he's not a Fernando Tatis. He is not a Francisco Lindor. Now, obviously, Lindor with his 26 home runs and 107 RBIs definitely take him as short. So far, we got, let me see, Padres at catching, so I gave what, first, second, short, and no, 3-2 so far, right? 3-2 because Machado got third. So 3-2 Mets so far in the positions. Now I lumped the outfield all in one. I didn't do left, center, and right. Reason being, all these guys are mixed and matched for the Mets. The Mets really haven't had a set position. You can say Starling Marte was at left, Brandon Kana, and then Brandon Nimmo, but then Brandon Nimmo came out of nowhere with a better defensive center fielder, and then Kana ended up batting better than Starling Marte. So Marte is the odd man out here. For those of you who don't know, he is the odd man out in the Mets rotation. Quite possibly it could be just the DH. But for the Padres, Jerickson Profar, Trent Grisham, and of course, Juan Soto. So I believe having a Juan Soto gives the Padres the edge in the outfield department. That makes it, 3-3? And then the DH, obviously, can be anybody. I'm not going to vote for the DH because it's either Josh Bell or Will Myers for the Padres. It's either going to be Starling Marte or a name that hasn't really been talked about much in Big Boy, Daniel Vogelbach. When I mean Big Boy, I mean Big Boy. Daniel Vogelbach, all he does is smash the ball. But, so yeah. But he will play sparingly because the Padres will throw out there possibly in game 2, Blake Snell, who finally decided to pitch like he used to, like he won the Cy Young a few years back with Yu Darvish and Blake Snell. That might be the best 1-2. And I'm gonna throw a third out there, Joe Musgrave, who is getting some votes in the Cy Young. Why is that pitching staff better than the Mets, DeGrom, Scherzer, and Bassett? This is breaking news, y'all. If y'all haven't heard already, the rookie Alvarez, we don't even know if he's on the roster yet, so I can't include him in anything. They haven't released a roster for tomorrow, and the Mets quite possibly may not even use him in the playoffs. So I'm gonna leave Alvarez out of there, who his first hit was a home run. Spoiler alert. Yes, I was just about to say that. It's possible, not official, that Jacob deGrom is not pitching in the wild card series. Buck Showalter, if I had your number or if I had a way to ask you one question, remember when you sat out David Cone in the playoffs and decided not to use him? I believe it was in 1995. Yes, 1995, when the Yankees lost to Griffey, Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, the Seattle Mariners. In 1995, Showalter said, I'm not using David Cone for the series. I'm saving him for round 2. They lost. That didn't work for them back then. I don't think it's going to work for them now. I got the Padres. I got the Padres in 3 games. I think the pitching is huge. I don't know if what Buck Showalter was thinking. What is he thinking? That's just, I don't know. I don't sit deGrom. I can't sit deGrom. If anything, he's my game 1 starter. You got to set the pace, you got to set a momentum, because guess what? If you win game 1, you got Max Scherzer coming out for game 2. So I don't know what Buck Showalter is thinking, but sir, it did not work for you in 95, and I don't think it's going to work for you in 2022. But who am I? I guess a quick note, I guess I have to throw in there, I got to bundle all this together. Tony La Russa is out as manager of the White Sox due to health reasons. I don't see him coming back. He didn't officially announce his retirement, but his way of coaching or managing is no longer effective, especially with that White Sox team who is stacked. I don't understand it. Obviously, the Guardians were hungry more, and I don't want to lose where I was. Yeah. I don't want to say he's old, but he's definitely old-minded. I don't like to use the term old because I am a little older myself and I'm getting up there in age. So I don't want to go up against that. But since we are talking about the Mets, we are talking about the 100-game winning Mets, the 101. Let's briefly talk about this. Many Mets fans out there saying they didn't choke. They just lost. Sorry, guys. Several times, several times the Braves were 10.5 games back. They started this season off slow, and as of June 1st, they were 10.5 games back. So let me. I usually don't give credit where credit is due. Since June 1st, the Braves went 77-33. Only one team matched that. Weren't better, weren't less, matched that. And obviously, it was the Dodgers who played 77-33 as well. So what happened? What happened? I think I will leave you with this quote, and I'm not the show's not over yet, but just trying to answer your question. What happened to the Mets? Pete Alonso said it best. You don't get mad about not winning the division and get swept by the Cubs. End quote. I didn't say it. Pete Alonso did. Pete Alonso, that was his quote. That's what he said. It was a choke. It was definitely a choke. But it's crazy to me because the Braves were only in first place for 4 days the entire season. Crazy, right? Also, the Mets, this is the tie for the third largest blown division lead. Yeah. So they spent 176 days in first place. And they did this all without Ozzie Albies, who right now is not expected to be back in this series. Quite possibly won't be back to the NLCS at the soonest. I guess I said that right? The earliest. Sorry, at the earliest. So let's see what the Braves got. And I will go over the Braves and the other teams next week. And one more note about the Braves. They're the first team who's trying to defend. Obviously, we say this every year because no one has been able to do it since the 98, 99, 2000 New York Yankees when they won 3 in a row. So can the Braves repeat? Can they? Can they not? What do you got? Tell me. They're in the comment sections. Can they repeat? Can they beat the Dodgers this year? I know they did it last year, but can they beat the Dodgers? So should be interesting. What do we got? Speaking of great seasons, obviously there's no way I can go through this particular show without mentioning the accomplishment of Aaron Judge. Now, I've been obviously I'm on social media. Everybody's on social media. And everybody's like, it's not even real. He didn't get 73. He didn't beat Barry Bonds. Let me tell y'all something. Baseball has 2 leagues, right? Like I watch football all you want. Football got 1 MVP. Basketball got 1 MVP. Baseball, since the beginning of time, have always had the American League and the National League MVPs, American League, National League Cy Youngs. Therefore, they have American League and National League records. Okay? Now, I'm not advocating for that this is the greatest season in the history. And I wish I had that slide. I forgot to send it to my producer. The greatest season of all time still is Barry Bonds. Okay? No, it's not, I think, because of the DH. The American League always had the DH. Okay? Different records. Now, if you look down the line of the home run record, they're all National League. Obviously, it starts at Bonds at 73. Mark McGwire, 60. And I don't have this in front of me. I'm just going by There's a 70, there's a 66, there's a 65, there's a 63, and all those are National League. And those names are Bonds, McGwire, Sosa. We'll give credit where credit is due, right? But here's why Baseball Writers of America says that this is not me. I'm not saying this. I'm just trying to defend both opinions. And this is why Baseball Writers of America recognized Aaron Judge as the home run record holder because it's not in the steroid era. And on top, it's not the juiced ball era. And this is the era of pitching. Yes, it's an incredible feat. 62 home runs is an accomplishment. Yeah, that's why I said 73, 70, 60, 65, 63, all those. Right. This is an American League record. Congratulations to Aaron Judge. Hell, congratulations to the guy that caught it. The guy that caught it was already rich. He's one of those hedge fund guys. He's already been offered $2 million for that ball. So no word yet on what the decision is going to be. Stanton did hit 59 in National League a few years back. So 73 is the record. I totally agree. I'm not advocating for just one record. I'm saying it is a record indeed. It's the American League record. But 162 games down. 12 teams left. Wild Card Series starts this weekend. Division Series starts on Tuesday. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers there, and I believe I already said all of them. Yeah, I said all of them already. But thank you. Thank you anyway. I do appreciate that. We try to stay honest around here. We do try to stay honest around here. But the American League record is 62. Who's your team? Who wins it all? Stay tuned as I break down what happened in the division. What happened in the wild card round and what's going on in the division round next Thursday. Thank everybody for tuning in. I believe that's all I got. Also, I will break down the National League and American League Cy Young and MVP races. I might even throw in there the Rookie of the Year, see what it is, I believe. Don't forget tonight, there is a football game. Don't forget tomorrow, the All Sports Matters podcast. Not going to lie to you, not really sure what all we're talking about tomorrow, but obviously we're talking about sports there. Spoiler, we're going to talk about more sports tomorrow. Tune in, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. To my boys in the All Sports Matters podcast, to the Pride and Passion Baseball Show, this was your playoff preview. Thank you for watching. And again, share. Take us out, producer.